Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm super excited to be here today to share my experience, how I succeed with using OneNote in a productive way. I guess a lot of you in this room are using OneNote today and are thinking, wow, this is an awesome tool, but how can I be more conscious of using OneNote in a more structured way? Well, my name is Ståle Hansen, and I'm a productivity enthusiast. I'm also from Norway, and I've been using OneNote at the core of my productivity for the past 2 years, which means that my thinking around it is robust enough to work when I'm super busy and when I got a lot of time on my hands. And by personal productivity, I mean that is the scenario when you as an individual are succeeding in getting stuff done. So, are you guys interested in learning my 5 steps for productivity with OneNote here today? Say yes. Yes. Actually, I need to take a picture of this. All the passion for OneNote needs to be documented, right? So say yes! 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 Awesome. That's great. Regarding questions, I have set of time at the end of the session. For questions, you can use the microphones or you can come up to the stage. So we got that out of the way. I want to start with a quote that really reflects this session and my thinking around how you should use OneNote, which is that your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Right? This is a quote by David Allen, and many of you may know of him. He is the creator of the Getting Things Done methodology. And he created that back in the 80s. And so he refers to using like bins, physical bins you put your papers in. He refers to using a notebook to take your notes that you bring with you all the time. And I really subscribe to a lot of the thinking behind that scheme. But I wanted to upgrade it for 2017. Like we live in a digital age. And how can I use the tools that I have access to in order to succeed with productivity? And the thinking is that you should put all your ideas, your thoughts, your to-do lists, your pictures from this seminar when you're taking pictures of slides, business cards, whiteboards, actionable email from Outlook or your favorite mail system, all of that should go into the same section in OneNote. I call it the collection section in OneNote. You can call it what you would like to call it. But the thing is, everything should go into the same place. Why? You might ask. Well, because then you can find it again. Right? So you take a lot of notes. You probably have been taking pictures at this conference when you're doing workshops and so on. And sometimes you need to do it quick. And it like gets stored somewhere on your mobile, on your computer, on your iPad. But the thing is, you need to find it again. That's the value of storing that information. So OneNote is at the core. The collection section is at the core. So the key takeaway from this session is collect at the same place every time. So if you're learning something from this session, it's this. And from there, you should use the productivity scheme that resonates well with you. So I tried Take Back Your Life, which is about how you can use Outlook to be productive. I read the book on Getting Things Done. I looked into the Pomodoro technique. I really like that as well. And the 5-minute rule, where you reflect on your day before you start and at the end. But what I found was that not one of these helped me completely on my way. So I've been taking ideas from these productivity schemes and putting it in a system around OneNote. You guys may subscribe to other productivity schemes that you can put on top of this OneNote. OneNote is just a canvas where you collect all your stuff. But I will use OneNote here and help you use it in a structured way. So I want to show you how you can use it on your mobile here at Ignite. So an example is setting up OneNote on an Android phone, and it is about the same for iOS as well. The thing is, you need to sign in where you have stored your favorite notebook. And preferably, this should be stored in OneDrive. You can use your personal OneDrive, but I prefer OneDrive for Business, because you probably have a better identity security regime around that sign-in. So you log in, and there you will find the notebooks you have available. So to keep it simple, I have named my notebook GTD for Getting Things Done, and I have my collection section. And on the Android, if you hold and press on that section, you get a menu where you get to set it as the default section. That's the important part here, because then you can use Quick Notes, Send to OneNote, and all the other shortcuts you have on your Android in order to send to the same place every time, which is stored in the cloud that you have access to across devices. Stored in the same place. If you have an iOS, the process is about the same. You sign in, you will find your notebook, but you need to go up to the cogwheel, and then you will need to choose the notebook you want to collect to. The main difference is that you won't get to choose the collection section. It will create a section called Quick Notes. But still, it will get stored into the same notebook, so you can sort it from there. One of my favorite examples here, you probably here at Ignite get some information overload like me, right? And there's a lot of articles around. Microsoft is publishing articles. Great blog posts are being published. And you want to save that for later. So here is an example where we go to Chrome and send to OneNote. So from there it goes into the collection section and it saves the link, and it can also save a picture of the article so you can read it offline when you are on your way back home on the plane and so on. And you can read it on your mobile, or you can read it on your computer or whatever you have at your hand. So this is an easy way how to save that knowledge, because there's a reason why you liked it, there's a reason why you wanted to read it, but you don't have time at this conference to dive into that article, but it's really useful information for when you get back. Use it as a reference or share it with your colleagues. One other example is using Office Lens in order to take good pictures of slides. But you can also use it to take good pictures of business cards, of whiteboards. So I really recommend using Office Lens. It's the same deal here. You need to sign in using your account, OneDrive or OneDrive for Business. The way you do it is you need to go into the app and sign in. Same as for the OneNote mobile app. So what you will see there is that you will get the option later on to save both in OneNote and as a picture. Which means that you will find that slide again, you will find that whiteboard session again. You've probably been at the expo area where someone have been whiteboarding stuff for you. Here you see an example of me taking a picture, and you see how it makes it look better and reformats the picture. So you go in after taking the first picture and you choose the default section, which is the collection section in your favorite notebook. So it gets saved there every time. So now you can easily take pictures and have them saved into OneNote. And this is more for like ad hoc pictures. If you are here and you are started and you are in OneNote already, you can take pictures directly from OneNote. And actually on the iOS device, on the OneNote for iOS, you actually get the same feature like reframing the picture when you're taking a picture directly in the OneNote mobile app. Hopefully it's on its way to Android as well. But these are 3 great tips in order to succeed with the collecting of information at a conference like this. And it also refers back to when you are wanting to note down good ideas, when you want to make sure that you store that good thought you had or someone share a good link with you. So in a good Microsoft spirit, I created a life cycle for how you can work with OneNote. And it's 5 steps. Step 1 is about you. About you wanting to change. You wanting to be more productive, more structured, and succeed with getting more stuff done. The second section is about capture. And this is the most important and most robust part of the life cycle. And as I said, if there's something you should take away from this session, it is the capture process. And I will dive into how you can do it in Outlook, how you should dump your thoughts, your to-do list into OneNote as well. The third step is processing and organizing, but because we do need a set of time to organize this. It's awesome to just capture in one place, but you need to set of time to organize it, create tasks, move it to different sections. So I will show you how I do that. And fourth section is about creating to-do lists and tasks using find tags in OneNote. And the fifth and coolest section is how to execute on this, how to get stuff done. And I'm going to show you some cool stuff there as well. Sounds good? Yeah! Once more. Sounds good? Yay! Awesome. Okay, step 1. You wanting to change your habits. And this is more like you needing to break down a habit you already have and try something new. The best way to succeed with this is to set a goal. You have a goal where you want to be, right? You want to be more structured, you want to get more stuff done, you want to have a better private life, you don't want to like work every evening, you want to get stuff done during workday. And the best way to succeed with changing your habits for that is to visualize it and think of how you would feel if you were to succeed with that. Because it turns out that if you put feelings into it, it gets easier and more real for you as a person to actually reach that goal. It's not that abstract that, oh, okay, I want to be awesome at this. But how would you feel doing that? So when you are to change your habits, you should try it for at least 14 days, up to a month, before you can start thinking if this works for me or not, or should I tune it? But it's hard to change your habits, right? But if you put feelings into it as well, you may have enough grit in order to succeed with it. For me, for instance, like creating a presentation like this requires a lot of work. A lot of late hours, a lot of thinking over time. This is something I've been thinking for about like this year, so 6 to 8 months. And I need to take notes, I need to be consistent in my doing, and it requires me to have grit. And having me visualizing, me being on stage here, talking to you guys about this, helps me stay on the course. So try to visualize what you want to accomplish by changing your habits. So let's look into the capture process. The first part, when you're starting with this, and this is from Getting Things Done, if any of you have used this before, is to unedited dump everything you have in your head into OneNote. Into the same section, preferably. Just hammer it down. Spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes. All those thoughts, ideas, insights, dreams, and to-do lists. I'm guessing a lot of you here running around Ignite, keeping a set of to-do lists in your head. Am I right? Yeah? So, and that requires a lot of brain power. And the thing is that you probably won't remember that to-do list at the correct time either. It pops up whenever it wants to. Like, sometimes you may be falling asleep, like just before you fall asleep, and remember, oh man, I should have sent that email today. Oh, tomorrow I need to actually get up earlier because I have that thing I need to do. And that is all those tasks you have in your head. You should have them into OneNote. By noting it down into OneNote, using Quick Notes on Android or using widgets on iOS, you write it down, you remember it, but the best part is, you can forget about it, right? Because it is in your OneNote and you will find it again. You know exactly where it is and you can forget about it. The same thing if you wake up in the middle of the night and have this awesome idea, this was like life-changing idea that you think at the time. You're probably not entirely awake either. And just write it down and you can evaluate if it was a good idea in the morning. But get it out of your head and your system. Save energy, not keeping it current in your thoughts. The same with insights. Typically when you are working out or walking in the woods or in the park, your head starts spinning, your head starts working and processing. And what happens is suddenly you have two different ideas that connects, right? You have some insights. And that moment of insight, you need to write down what that insight is. Use that, use the mobile for that, OneNote mobile, and store it in the collection section so you can find it again. It's all about finding stuff. Same for ideas and thoughts, and of course your dreams. Where do you want to be next month, next year, in 5 years? Write it down. And then you can reflect on that later and reflect, okay, what am I doing right now that brings me towards that dream, brings me towards that position I want to be in? What do I need to do differently? And commit to that. Because if you have put feelings into that dream as well, it's easier to commit. Or what should you do more of that you're already doing? It's all about you being able to prioritize what's important for you. Right? So it's all about collecting everything into OneNote. So let me show you how you should set this up on your Windows 10 machine. So you have the OneNote client and you sign in to OneDrive. That's what we did on the mobile. And we go and actually create this in OneDrive. So here is when you create it. You can do it on your mobile or you can do it on your computer. And the first thing, we're going to create that collection section. So just name a section, collection. So that's easy, right? Or you can use your existing one. The thing is, you need to modify the send to OneNote settings. So you go into File and Option, and there you can configure the send to OneNote settings. It all should go to the collection section. Your emails, contacts, websites, content, and so on. Every time you use send to OneNote on your Windows machine, you set that to go into the collection section. So here you see, you go through it and choose the section you want to store everything is. Same as we did on mobile. So now, when you are in Outlook and you send to OneNote, you know where it goes. Right? When you are sending a web page to OneNote, you know where it goes. when you're printing to OneNote, you know exactly where it goes, so you can process it later on. I reserved one spot, though, for meetings. I actually like to create a separate one for meetings. And let me show you how I do that. So I create a separate section for meeting notes, and the reason for that is that when I have customer meetings, workshops, and so on, that is information I want not to have cluttered by all the other stuff I collect. So I send that to a separate section. So the Outlook meeting notes I do, or Skype for Business meeting notes I do, goes into that meeting tab. So we need to go back into Files and Options and set that as well after we have created that section. So this makes sure that you collect to the same place and you're ready to get started succeeding with OneNote. But wait, there's one more thing. You have quick notes as well on your Windows machine. By pressing Windows and N, or you can use the OneNote taskbar icon, you can do quick notes. And quick notes are easy to get started with, and are when you haven't OneNote up and running, but you do want to take notes quickly. That's why it's called quick notes. So you go into File and Option there as well, but you need to go into Backup. That's where you set the quick notes section. And then you will see that when using it, you press Windows and N, you just take notes, and you see it will get stored directly into the collection section. So you know where quick notes are going. By default, they're probably going to a local notebook that you are not using. And that doesn't help very much, that you have lots of local notebooks. So quick notes get started with like super fast notes. You don't have to open Outlook, you don't have to open OneNote, just get started with it. So that was setting up the OneNote client. So let's look at how this looks when using Outlook. Because Outlook is an awesome tool, right? But the thing with Outlook, it's just a small part of your full agenda, of all your tasks. It's only the formal written communication that you have with other people. And typically, your inbox is someone else's agenda, right? It's not your agenda. Because they send your emails and expect a response to that, preferably in their own time, not yours. So you need to take control of that. And when evaluating emails, if they can be done in under 2 minutes, do it now. So if you receive an email or you process your inbox and it can be done in under 2 minutes, like sending off some information, just adding a document, sending it back, whatever, do it right away. Because the problem with a large inbox is that you procrastinate, right? So, I got so many mails, I can't watch through them, but some of these can be done in under 2 minutes, and you should just get them out of the way. What happens then is that you help your colleague, your customer, your partner to stay in their flow state, right? So they are in flow, don't have to wait for you. And if you procrastinate just answering that easy, short email, they may ask you, have you seen my email? Do you have an answer for me? And so on. And then that creates noise in your everyday. And this is also from the Getting Things Done methodology. So the goal is an empty inbox. I'm not talking about that you process every email right now and then, but answer those emails that takes less than 2 minutes and move the rest to OneNote. right? So here's an example, and I'm quite aware that not all of you have this neat inbox with 3 emails, but it's just an example. So here's an email where I get asked to provide some contact information. And that's something I can do within 2 minutes, so I do it right away. Answer it, get it out of the way. And in a busy workday, you probably get emails there as well, and you follow your emails. Suddenly there is a mail there you can answer right away, you know the answer to, do it. So it gets fragmented, but still you get to keep your coworkers in flow. The second email is an email where I have some tasks. I'm about to design a new solution, and I'm not going to do that right away. So I send it to OneNote. There I get the title, I get the date, I get who sent me the mail and when, and also get the content of that email. So I can use it to create actionable actions. The last one is a meeting, and it takes me less than 2 minutes to find out if that meeting time works for me and if I can accept it or propose new times. So do it as soon as you can. So what I'm doing right now is removing all those processed emails into a folder called Archive. I'm not deleting them. I'm not sorting them into subfolders. Just move it to Archive. My not inbox, right? Because we do want to find the mails again, because when we have processed them, we need to go back and answer and so on, so we need to find them again. But the goal here is to have an empty inbox. And there's a funny joke running around. That's 2 types of people. Those who have 0 read messages in their inbox, and those who have thousands of unread messages in their inbox. I subscribe to the first one. Clear your inbox. Do you agree? Yeah? Yeah? But still, you haven't spent too much time processing this. You have just sorted it and answered those short emails. So here's an example how I do meetings. So I find the meeting I'm going to, that's happening right now, and I open that meeting, and from that, you can take meeting notes in OneNote. That is a cool trick, because you get all the agenda, you get the title of the meeting, you get the attendees. So you have a jump start on your meeting notes. And what's great with OneNote, you can either complete the agenda, taking notes on your own. You can, when people are going around the table, telling who they are and why they are in the meeting, you can just expand on that on the existing name. And of course, it's OneNote. It's a rich note-taking tool, so you can draw and do whatever. It's a really great canvas. So you jumpstart your meeting notes, and you see that it went into the meeting notes section. Another trick here is if you have an ad hoc Sky for Business meeting and you want to take notes, you find out, oh, this is suddenly we are talking about tasks here, so we need to take notes. You go to the sharing in Sky for Business and take notes. That opens it in OneNote into the meeting section with the time of when the meeting happened and a live view of who attended. The cool part here is if you add people later in the call, they will show up in OneNote as well. That's cool. But of course, you see it's a bit different than sending from Outlook, because it will not have the agenda, just the attendees and when the meeting happened. But it's a great way to jumpstart who was in the meeting, what did we talk about. Right? Great. And using the Outlook plugin is awesome, but it's only available on your computer. So I've been looking into how you can use Microsoft Flow in order to do the same thing. So in preview right now, you have integration with Outlook in Office 365 and integration with OneNote when it's stored on your OneDrive for Business storage. So let me show you how I can set up a flow doing the exact same thing, but the goal here is to use it across devices, right? From your mobile, from any client. Doesn't have to be the Outlook mobile app, could be the native mail client on your device. So you log into the portal, portaloffice.com. If you have the Flow license, it will show up there. So what you do is go into Flow and you search for Outlook. Right? And from there, you want to choose the trigger that is when I flag an email in my inbox and I want to do an action on that. I try to do when an item arrives in a folder, but that only works for exactly when the item arrives in my inbox. But I don't want to send all my mail to OneNote. So I chose to go with flagging mails. Of course, this may break up how you use flagging of your mails today, but I subscribe to use OneNote as your task system and not Outlook. So I don't use flagging of mails other than to send it to OneNote. You may have different ways of using it. But here we add a next step in the flow. We add and search for OneNote. And from there, we want to create a new page in an existing section, which is our collection section, right? So it will look into your OneDrive for Business and find the notebooks that are there for you. So what you will see then is you can find the notebook you're using. I'm using the Getting GTD notebook. I'm using the collection section. And you have the content you want to be pasted into OneNote. By default, this is not as pretty as the Outlook plugin. And I also needed to search for a good way to do it. So I went to search for Microsoft Flow, OneNote, and title, because the title didn't come over. And the thing is that you can paste HTML code into this, and luckily someone had already created that. Of course, this is something I'm storing in my OneNote. I just wanted to show you guys how you can find it on your own. So by pasting that HTML code into the body, I make sure that I get the title, I get everything I need in order to process it in OneNote. So from there, I save the flow, and it's ready. Keep in mind that it takes about 10 to 15 minutes before it becomes active, so don't try it right away. And one more thing is that it takes about 15 minutes, it runs every 15 minutes. So it doesn't run instantly. But that's not a problem, right? Because you flag your email and you forget about it. And then you find it in OneNote later. So I'm going to flag an email. I'm going to use Windows Mail as an example. So I'm flagging it in Windows Mail. Because you can use any client of your choosing. And then I go back to checking and 15 minutes later, it has processed it. So you will see that it has actually found it and processed it. So now saved you 15 minutes, that's awesome. And you can go back into OneNote and do a refresh, and you will see that the email has gotten across. So you see that it's not equally pretty, but good enough. And it works across devices and clients. So I think it's more robust than just using the Outlook plugin. And it works better at a conference like this, right? Because you probably get a lot of emails when you're here as well, but you're not always on your computer. So if you get an important email you need to process later on, flag it, have it into OneNote, so that when you get back home and have lots of emails in your inbox, you already have flagged those that are important for you. You can also use the OneNote Windows 10 app, the one that follows in Windows 10, in order to take meeting notes. So you go into Insert and you log on to your Exchange account. It needs to be stored in Office 365. So this is a different approach where you don't have to open Outlook in order to take notes. You only need the Windows 10 OneNote client. So you log into your Exchange account and you will get a list of all your meetings that day or in the future as well. And Microsoft is working on keeping a feature parity across clients, and they are doing a lot of work on the Windows 10 client. So follow how that works. Here you saw that I created a new page, I pasted the meeting content into that new page, and I'm ready to take notes. And I only used OneNote to do it. Cool? Yeah? Cool. Awesome. Now you know how I think when I do capture. I can do it from Outlook, I can do it from OneNote, I can do it on my mobile device, I can save mails even though I'm at a conference like this and maybe my computer stays at home. So why are we doing this? And how can we succeed with this? And actually now we are over to the bonus content of this session. Because you don't have to do it exactly as I am doing it, but while processing it, there is some good thinking here around how you can succeed with it. So you need to, of course, set up time to organize that content in the collection section into other sections. And I like to differentiate between those as dynamic content and static content. Dynamic content is all your current tasks, all your current information that you probably will delete when you're finished with it or move it to an archive. Static content is information you revert back to, information you want to find again in half a year, next month, next week. It's static, it's the same every time. Like that contact information for the HR department. When you have questions about your salary, when you have questions about vacation, right? Instead of like searching it up again, you have it available. So static content is where do you buy your gadgets, where do you buy it last time, all that stuff you probably store either in a different notebook, in Outlook, you send it to yourself an SMS, or keep it in your head. Have it written down in OneNote. So next time, that could be a year later, you will find that information again because you know you have actually researched it earlier. So here's an example of using sections. You see here that I have the collection section, the meeting notes. I have current, which is I store all my dynamic content. I have mobile, which is a really important section because all those articles, YouTube videos, everything I want to consume and can do on a mobile I move to the mobile section. So when I have 30 minutes on my hands, 1 hour, and I have my mobile with me, well, then I can read that article. I can watch that YouTube video. And you get to work with tasks on mobile as well. So I think that's an important section. I also have a section for archive. Archive is where I put all my current tasks that I'm finished with, put it in archive. By time, you want to maybe move the archive to a different notebook, so it doesn't make your notebook super large. So maybe move it to another notebook called archive, and archive based on first half 2017, second half 2017, and so on. And then you have the someday maybe section. Someday maybe are tasks and interesting activities that you have that you're not going to do anytime soon. So it's not important for you right now. It's about like learning a new technology, diving into PowerShell. I'm going to do it. Here's some good resources for it, but I don't have time today. Well, don't put it in current, put it in someday maybe. Of course, PowerShell, as an administrator, everyone should learn, so you should get started sooner rather than later. But move it to the someday maybe. And then you can create section groups. And in one section group, I have static content. Static content is a new set of sections with static information. And these are my personal static sections. But the most important one is the one I call services. Services is where you store all that useful information you revert back to, like that number to that guy you need to call to get your plumbing fixed. Like the number or contact information to HR department. That website you need to go to get to order your gadgets. How you internally can help and succeed with ordering a new computer. Put it in there. Then I have something called speaker sessions, so I store all my abstracts in one place, so I can expand on them, I can continue on them, and I don't have to reinvent it every time. I also do a YouTube series, I've written a book, and all that content I found useful for that, I placed into those sections because I want to find it when I'm working with that. And one more important one is my job role. That is where you store your dreams, where you want to be. It doesn't have to be your job role, just like where am I going? And that's where you can reflect on, well, on your work life, your private life, and you should do that like once a year, once every half year, something like that, in order to make sure that you're doing the stuff that's important for you. And if you're not, what should you do? And how should you go about it? And what should you do more of? That goes into that section. So when you reflect on it one time, you can continue and expand on it the next time. It's all about getting to one place and not just going around that place, but make sure that you expand on it. Continue the same train of thought the next time. Brings you forward. So again, these are quite personal sections, but you guys probably have other sections that works better for you, that's more important for you, into what kind of static content you want to save. One here is blogging. So I do blog, and when I'm researching a subject, an article, when I find information about that, I move it into my blog section. So here's something cool. When you have processed this, and you have a task, like I'm creating a design. Then you should reflect on what you need to do in order to make that happen. And you can use custom tags to create your tasks. I like to use tasks in OneNote. And the reason for that is that I have everything in one place. OneNote is a rich note-taking tool, so I take all my notes there, so my tasks should be there as well. And I'm going to show you in step 4 why we are doing this. So here I have that important design project, and I have reflected on what concrete actions do I need to do in order to reach my goal. Well, first I need to call Bob, because he said that this was an important design, and I need to find out what's important, what's the goal here. So call Bob. Okay, that's easy. And then I need to install Visio, because I'm designing in Visio. I have a new computer, so I need to get that installed. I need to get those custom Visio figures. I need to set up time to do the design. And then I need to notify the project lead that I'm on track and book that meeting for the walkthrough, so that you don't spend a lot of time designing and after that you're starting to book the meeting. It's more effective to do it in advance, so it fits your schedule better. So what we want to do is to create custom tags to tag these actions. And custom tags you find in the OneNote client. You find them under tags, and you can click custom tags. You click new, and you give it a name. And in this case, I have to do task. So I create my own task tag, and I choose how it should be. And I also create something called subtask. So I have a primary task, and I have subtasks. And the goal here is to create a primary task for every big thing in your work life, like a large project, large customer, and other sections like blogs, like wiki, other stuff that you may have a lot of actions connected to. And the result is that you can use those tags, and they get reflected in the mobile clients as well. Right now, you can only use tags like this in the OneNote 2016 client, but it will in time also come in the other clients as well. So you see now I have that important project, which is my main task, and I have different subtasks that I want to do. So this is what you do when you are processing those actions and moving out those into current or other sections. So there is a reason why we did that. And the reason is that we can use find tags in OneNote, and it's magical. Right? It is awesome. Because you can use find tags to create that ultimate to-do list. Because you have stored everything in OneNote, your thoughts, your dreams, your to-do lists, your emails, your notes from the meetings, everything is in there. And when you use find tags, which you find at the same place where you find the tags, you can create your to-do lists. So what you do is click find tags, you create a summary page. That summary page is separate from the original task. It's just a list of all your tasks. From there, you can sort it, organize it, prioritize it. So right now, what's the most important task that I need to do to lift the most weight off my shoulders? What is it? And then I prioritize my day, my week, my 14 days, whatever time span works for you. So this one you can edit, sort things around, and you see that just by the tag, you will find a link to the original task. where you have all your notes. So you work in the original task, original OneNote page, and you complete it there, and you check it in your edited to-do list. So you know you get stuff done during the day, during the week. And when you have reflected on what are those small tasks you need to do in order to get the larger task done, then you just need to do them. You don't have to reflect on it every time you look at, oh, I need to have big design projects. What's the next thing I need to do? You already have reflected on that. The first thing you need to do is call Bob. Let's call him then. So, when you complete the tasks and you delete the original summary, you do a refresh, and then you create a new summary page, which reflects all those tasks you have completed because they are not there anymore, and all the tasks you have added since the last time. And you create a new to-do list. You reflect on what's important for you at this point in time. How cool is that? I think it's awesome. And this to-do list is where we get stuff done. So that's step 5. Because when you have that to-do list, all you need to do is focus and get it done. And you know it is the most important task you can do at that point in time because you have a full overview of all your tasks. Even though it takes 2 hours to complete it, it is more important than to answer that email that takes half an hour. Because this is the most important thing, either to reach my deadline, to keep others in flow, and so on. But the problem is multitasking. How many of you are also multitaskers? I am. I'm great at it. But it doesn't actually help you get stuff done. Have you ever found that email you started on in the morning, at the end of the day when you're closing down, and you thought you had completed the email and sent it, and you were actually waiting for an answer on that. And oh my God, I haven't sent it yet because someone disturbed you. You disturbed yourself. You went to get coffee, and you forgot about it. Right? So, you should say, and you disturb yourself with social media, websites, your mobile, getting coffee. And the thing is, I'm a social media addict. When it goes 5 minutes, when I go through all those sites I go through, then I need to start again, right? Because something may have happened. And this is a challenge in a busy workday, in a digital age. And we need to learn to reach the flow state as often as possible. The flow state is when we get stuff done, right? Typically, it happens early in the morning or late at night because we are not disturbing ourselves that much and we don't have other stuff that distracts us. And we get stuff done, we can focus for several hours, it's great. And it's difficult to do that during a busy workday, right? So what if I told you there is a way to reach the flow state in a busy workday as well? Would you like to go down that route? Yes? Yeah? That is where the Pomodoro technique comes in. The Pomodoro technique is a focus tool. It helps you induce the flow state in 10 to 25 minutes intervals. And if you are able to, keep going. It turns out that our brains are wired in such a way, it's difficult to get started with stuff, right? That's why we procrastinate. But it's difficult to stop when we have started as well. So if you actually get started with it, then you are in your flow state and you can wrap your head around that complex email, get started with that documentation. There's so much stuff you can do in only 25 minutes of flow. And it's only 25 minutes, right? So you can actually focus on it, shut down everything else, be unavailable, and do it. So if you have 45 minutes to a meeting, instead of getting a coffee, talking to your colleagues, of course you should do that as well. But, okay, I can do a 20-minute Pomodoro right now. Let's do it. I have my to-do list. I know what is the most important thing I need to do. That's what we have OneNote for. And you get stuff done. So how should you work with your calendar with this thinking? Well, I guess most of you don't have a clean calendar like this. I understand that. So it's just an example. But what you can do is schedule to-do times in the morning before you start your day and before you finish the day. In the morning, you reflect, what's the most important tasks I can do today? Maybe I do a Pomodoro as well, to just get those emails out of the way, to get started. Also get a heads up on everyone else. And one life hack is actually get in and do a Pomodoro before everyone else gets to work. Because then you answer your emails, you send them tasks, and there's so many people that use the inbox as their agenda when they come to work. They will answer email first because it's on top, right? So let's use that. At least you should set of time once a week, Friday maybe, to reflect on your week and reflect on your upcoming week. Process your collection section and so on. You need to set off time. And you need to set off time, and it's called to do. Because it's not a specific task, because the specific task may change during the day, during the week, and so on. And you should use the tools available to you when you are trying to reach focus. Use music. Either listen to your favorite band that gives you energy, or you can use science to produce those alpha waves that helps you learn better and focus better. There's an MVP called Carl Franklin that's created Pomodoro music. It lasts for 25 minutes. It's not intrusive. It's repetitive, but not annoying. But it has between 50 and 80 beats per minute that produces those alpha waves. And use devices, productivity headsets available to you. If you're in an open landscape or just want to focus, here's an example from Sennheiser, the MB660. It's certified for Sky for Business, so you can use it for Sky for Business. Got Bluetooth, USB wired, jack cable wired, replaces all your other headsets. For music, for long-haul flights, for Sky for Business. Plantronics also have just released such a headset as well. So go check them out at their booths. Use presentation settings on your computer. Presentation settings is when you suppress all pop-ups from email, from Facebook, from whatever. So you don't get distracted when you get new email. And the goal here is single tasking, right? Do one task, focus at it. And if you do it for more than 7 minutes, you actually reach the flow state. Then you get stuff done. It's hard the first time. If you're not used to doing single tasking, it's super hard. Start with shorter periods, like 10 minutes. And build your way up. In time, maybe you don't have to use all these tools to get into flow state. You just focus because you're used to single tasking. But it is a skill you need to learn. And the skill is, if you want to check Facebook, say no. If you want to check Twitter, say no. It's only 25 minutes, right? If you want to check LinkedIn, say no. If you want to go to Instagram, no. Reddit, no. Mobile, no. If someone's calling you, it's probable they can wait 10 minutes, 25 minutes. Right? Or you get emails, you get SMSs. I don't think the world dies during those minutes. Get coffee? No. Too bad you should have gotten it before you started. Right? Don't disturb yourself by doing other stuff. Favorite news sites? Nope. Say no. And if you're going to follow the Pomodoro technique, it's written a book on it as well, not me, but some other guy. You should write down every time you want to distract yourself and see how you're doing. But the most important part is just to focus. And I created a script for that. So I have a PowerShell MVP colleague called Jan Egil Ring. He and I uploaded an open source Pomodoro timer using PowerShell, works on a Windows machine, that does all this for you. Because the goal is not to be just unavailable, that's important. It's more important to become available again. Right? Because if you suddenly go into flow, you forget that you have set Do Not Disturb in Sky for Business, muted your phone, set presentation settings on your computer. Just go in your flow. But then people need to get through to you, and they don't respect that you are unavailable, right? But if they know when you will be available, then maybe they can wait. Maybe. So, the script is like this, quite easy. It's not that complicated. You can find it using the link here and use capital letters. And it's worth checking into. You can set yourself a timer for 25 minutes, or you can choose when to do it. You can set your note in Sky for Business, your presence in Sky for Business, and you can use if this then that to mute your phone. And the important part is to get unmuted again. So it sets presentation settings, it gives you a timer, and it mutes your phone, right? And it also gives you a status in Sky for Business when you will be available again. And it even counts down, right? So I have a custom present state here called Pomodoro Sprint. And now it's like, it's 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're available, right? So this is the trick. So those hanging over you, I want to talk to you, they know exactly when you become available. And they can plan to talk to you then. Or use tag present state in Sky for Business. Your phone gets unmuted. So if someone wants to call you, you will hear it. But it's okay to get disturbed, right? Because now you have completed your focus session. Go on focusing if you can, but it's okay to get disturbed. It's okay to go get that coffee. If you need to check Facebook, do it. It's okay. And that's a good feeling, right? You have done what you need to do. Take a break, that's okay. Or keep going if you have reached your flow state. And you have 1 more hour before you have the next meeting or other activity. So that was the entire life cycle. And the result here is the life hack. You getting to complete tasks, the most important tasks for you, you get to check them off. So even though your day didn't go as you planned, you got stuff done. You got other stuff done, but you got stuff done. And when you go home at night, you know that you have completed what was important for you that day. So that you can relax. You know you have the notes of all that stuff you didn't get to do. You can reflect on that in the morning. Right now, we can focus on friends and family. We can focus on getting kids to practice and just be in the moment. And the result of that is good times, right? You will actually become more happy in your life. That is what OneNote can do for you. Thanks. But the key takeaway here is collecting, right? If you're not collecting, you don't get to do all this awesome stuff. But the processing part, do it like you want to do it. Use the task schedulers you want to use. Some of you may have questions. What about Microsoft To Do? Right? Microsoft To Do is an awesome app. It actually syncs with Outlook tasks if you use Office 365. But right now, I think that OneNote is the better platform because that's where you have all your tasks. And what about Planner, Jira, all those other external task systems that you use in Teams and use in your team? I believe, and I'm going to look into that, is to use the Graph API to get those tasks that are assigned to me in Planner and put them in OneNote, because that's my personal to-do environment. But when I'm working with that task, I go into Planner and check it and update it, but it is in one platform for me as a person. But that's also another story, how to succeed with this in Teams. Make sure you start with yourself first. Then you can move on using the same methodology as team as well. So to round off, as a call to action, I have created a YouTube series on this called OneNote LifeHacks. And this is because I'm getting a lot of good feedback on this. And these are short videos where I want to show you one thing. How to set it up OneNote Mobile on your mobile. How to set it up on a computer. How to sort email. Short videos with specific content. So when you are wanting to revert back to this thinking, you can use my YouTube channel. That will be great, by the way. So go in there and subscribe. You will get notifications when I post new YouTube videos. And this is a work in progress for me as well. And I will love to get tips from you guys. What you are doing, what you are succeeding with. So reach out to me on Twitter, on YouTube, and give me some good tips. I love that. With that, I thank you so much for your time, and have a great conference. And if you have questions, ask at the microphones or come up to me here at the stage. Thank you.
Can you flip back a couple slides to where you had the GitHub thing, please?
Yep. So it was
There you
here.
go. Thank you.
Remember, capital letters, PSP, so the link works. Use Office Lens to take a picture of this now.
I am.
Save it into OneNote.
Thank you.
Thanks.